Hello and welcome to the Bluegrass State. Tonight, the Mystic Racing League hits a turning point as the Slim Chickens Cup Series rolls into Kentucky Speedway for race 14, the start of the second half of their regular season with the chase fast approaching. 207 laps here tonight, over 300 miles. Stage breaks at lap 55 and 115. The pressure is going to be on here tonight and the margin for error is gone. All of this is coming up right here on VSPEED. My name is Adam Baker and I'm joined up here in the booth tonight by Gavin Grubbs, with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. And it's going to be an exciting one here. Kentucky Speedway, this mile-and-a-half racetrack. Definitely a unique one when it comes to mile-and-a-half cookie-cutter racetracks. And Gavin, what are your thoughts for these guys coming in tonight?
You know, this is one track that a lot of drivers somewhat can get frustrated with, but Wednesday night in the Truck Series, we saw a really good race. Tires are going to be super important here tonight, especially in the wider turn 3 and 4, because if you're on fresh tires, you can use that top lane to pass, but don't use it too much or you will eat your right front tire alive.
Yeah, definitely a tough track to keep your tires underneath you, as the field looks like they may be on the racetrack already. Quick qualifying session and quick pre-race here for us. We're going to go trackside to our starting grid. We'll go through the point situation maybe at a different point here tonight. Looks like the field is rolling here at Kentucky as we get things about to go underway in tonight's race. Starting on the pole, it's going to be the number 15 machine of Devin Curl. Anthony Marino Jr. going to roll off from second here tonight. Rolling off from third, it's going to be Gavin Hinson. Christian Barnes starts from the fourth position. Starting in fifth, it's Isaac Wilson. River Hayes, your points leader coming into tonight's race, starts from the sixth spot. Jacob Cochran going to roll off from seventh here. Beckett Brown starting in eighth. Joshua Gillen going to roll off from ninth. And Rayshawn Winkfield going to start from 10th.
In the 11th position, it is John Ullman with Zachary King lined up to his outside. In 12th, Matthew Gray in 13th with Dustin Lewis in 14th. 15th position is Clayton Good with Caleb Hunt in 16th position. 17th place, Dylan Brumley with Zach White in the 77 car lined up in 18th. Rounding out your top 20 is Jack Pfeiffer and Lauren Vincent.
Rolling off 21st, it's going to be Michael Wade in the number 5 machine. Reggie Kime starting from 22nd. 23rd here tonight is going to be Corey Jones. 24th, David Moyer. Starting in 25th, it's Corey Powell. James Sturdivant going to roll off from 26th. 27th is Colin Bollinger. Jared Knopfsnyder going to roll off from 28th here tonight, and that will round out your field. 28 drivers here at Kentucky. Let's take a quick look at our race analysis. Again, 207 laps. This is over a 300-mile race tonight in the Hudson Auto Works 500. Stage break's going to be at lap 55 and lap 115. The drivers do have 7 sets of tires available. Unlimited green-white checkered attempts if we are going to need them here tonight. And 60% fuel load, so these drivers should have to bring it down pit road during both of our stages. It's going to be an interesting one to see what the strategy calls are in regards to that. I'm looking forward to seeing these guys put on a great show for us here at one of the most difficult mile-and-a-half racetracks they will face all season long. Gavin, looking forward to a good one here.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. These guys are looking forward to it too, as we are getting ready to come to green.
Yeah, looking at the track conditions very quickly, it's not a hot day here in Kentucky. The sun about to set 70 degrees and 72 degrees on the track. Devin Curl and Anthony Marino Jr. about to get us going for tonight's race as the field works into the Geico restart zone. Green flag is out. We are off and away from Kentucky. And a good opening first lap for the 15 of Devin Curl, who's going to have the race lead at the start-finish line. But here comes the 48 of Anthony Marino Jr. closing in quickly as they dive back into turn number 1. He'll look to the outside, not going to have any running room there as the 15 is going to stick to the inside. Saw a battle potentially 3 wide for a moment headed into turn number 1. That settles back out, and at the front curl, a car length in hand. And looking back here, Christian Barnes has gotten up into the outside wall. Hard hit for the 27.
Yeah, that's heavy damage for Barnes there. He's gonna have a lot of work to do the rest of this race with that race car. If they can get it fixed, hopefully. Oh, that's yeah, it just looks like it snapped around bad on him.
Yeah, there's contact headed into turn number 3, and his car heavily damaged. It's likely going to be a race ender as he works around. The field was not too far behind just there. I'm not sure if he's pulled it off onto pit road. He's parked up by the outside wall, and now he's pulled it down pit road. So that will be the end of the 27's night. Unfortunate to end it so early like that, as the top two putting on a good battle for the race lead. Side by side further back, the 10 and the 2, Joshua Gillen, Dylan Brumley, those two trying to fight for positions just outside the top 10. Everybody else single file in front of them. This will be your first battle. As little drift there from the 10 up the hill. Catches the left door of Dylan Brumley, but Brumley able to complete the pass off of turn number 4 and take over that 12th position. Lots of different lines on that end of the racetrack. It looks like most drivers sticking to the inside here in 1 and 2.
Yeah, in the truck race the other night, we saw everybody be able to use pretty much the entire bottom half of the track in turns 1 and 2. But right now, with the amount of grip that these cars produce, you just want to stay in line and wrap the bottom as good as you can and just wait for the guys in front of you to make mistakes.
Yeah, and these Gen 7 NASCAR machines, so tough to stay right on the back bumper of the car in front of you. Looks like everybody really no choice here in turns 1 and 2. Has a little issue there for the 79. Caught the apron, drifted up the hill, and lost a little bit of ground. That's Matthew Gary, able to get back in line now. And further back, John Ullman, starting to see the 10 of Joshua Gillen go up the hill behind him and try and find some momentum off of turn number 4. But things starting to kind of filter out pretty quickly. Here comes a battle now, as it looks like it's the 19 and the 91, Caleb Hunt, Clayton Good. These guys fighting for position just outside the top 15. And already a pretty large gap all the way to the tail end of the field. About 7 seconds all the way back there, as the top two still the same as they have been here in the first 7 laps, and that is Devin Curl leading the way.
Yeah, Devin Curl is one of these guys that we have just seen, especially over in our truck series. I'm sorry I keep referencing it, but it's the one I'm most familiar with on Wednesdays. It seems like he's a guy that's always up front, and I'm not surprised at all to see him this fast in this Cup car.
Yeah, there's actually some similarities between those trucks and the next gen cars. They've got a lot of downforce, very aerodependent. The Xfinity car is kind of the outlier of the 3 series, so if you're good in the trucks, you're likely to have some strengths here in these cars. We've seen that, with some drivers in the real NASCAR Cup series, where they've come up from the truck series and maybe have a little bit more early success than drivers who were very successful in the O'Reilly Auto Parts cars. So maybe seeing a little bit of that come to fruition here tonight as well. Looking for other battles brewing on the racetrack. Most drivers single file, although it looks like we've got 2 wide back here. Tight battle between Michael Wade, Colin Bollinger, and Caleb Hunt. And Caleb Hunt able to get the 15th position away on board here with Bollinger in that 53 machine as he runs the top side. Going to have a nice head of steam down the backstretch. Not able to get back up to the 19, and then 3 different lanes for the drivers battling right here. The 77 of Zach White looks to the inside now of Clayton Good, and 10 laps down already in this one.
Yeah, so far in this race, it just seems like everybody's wanting to settle into their spot that they're comfortable running, and now we got some single file racing, but before long, if this thing stays green, we're going to see a pit stop somewhere in the middle of this stage.
Yeah, you'll see some guys probably just split it right down the middle. You might see a few try and run it as far as they possibly can and just top up on fuel, maybe save a set of tires, or even maybe opt for 2 to just try and spend as little time on pit road as possible. Battle in the top 5 now brewing. Beckett Brown, Rayshon Winkfield, these guys nose to tail, 4th and 5th. They've created a little bit of a gap back to Isaac Wilson in that 6th position. And look at this run on the top side from Rayshon Winkfield. That 35, really nice job up there in the middle line. Gets right to the back bumper. Almost takes a peek on the apron down the front straightaway. And they'll send it back down into turn number 1. Really just only one place you can go down here at Kentucky in turn 1 is to that inside lane, like we said. And that's going to cost him another car length there just in the wake of the 45. A little further back, side by side, still battling is the 53 of Colin Bollinger and Caleb Hunt. Now throw John Ullman into this battle. This is all happening inside the top 15. They are starting to stack up just a bit here.
Yeah, they're all stacking up behind this 53 car, but they just don't have the speed to get around him right now, as he's doing a really good job just keeping them behind him, running the line that they want to run. And even though he's got some faster cars behind him, he's doing a really good job maintaining his track position.
Yeah, Bollinger says he's up 15 positions in this race. Started almost shotgun on the field, and he is shown as 12th place. So huge mover, biggest mover by far. So keep an eye on that 53 machine as he continues his march towards the front. Caleb Hunt behind him is he's up a few positions as well. John Ullman, kind of your loser out of these 3 that we're just taking a look at quickly. He's lost 3 positions, now almost falling to the 15th spot. Michael Wade up 6 positions, so he's a big mover as well. Some of these guys finding speed here in the short run. We'll see if it holds up, but you know, because of that low fuel load, they're not going to really actually have all that many super long runs today.
Yeah, and I think that's a good call at a track like this, because with the amount of tire fall off we have, making them pit as many times as possible can make for some interesting strategy calls. You know, if we have a long green flag run, you might want to be able to take 2 tires, but I really recommend just taking 4, splitting the stages right down the middle.
Yeah, unless you've got extensive practice taking 2 tires, it is not usually the strategy you want to go with. If you've got any kind of long run afterwards, it can work if you've got short runs, you know, not a lot of wear on the tires. I've had that work out for me in races. I've seen it work out for other drivers, but yeah, tonight I think you're right. This is going to be a track where tires are going to be very important. Already about 7 or 8 tenths off of the fast laps here, and Devin Curl starting to stretch that out now, almost a second out in front. Clean Air paying dividends to the number 15 right now as he continues to dominate the early stretch of this race. Now the battle, Michael Wade, John Ullman, Lauren Vincent, these guys all battling here. Clayton Good as well, as the 5 stuck down on the inside lane, not able to carry the momentum right there, and he seems to be fighting kind of a tight condition, as there goes the 91 right around the outside, no problem. And I would be interested to see if any of these guys are going to try and stretch it on fuel. I don't think it's possible based on the numbers that we were seeing, but you never know. Some people, some drivers are really good at finding every ounce of fuel where they can.
Yeah, I mean, saving fuel is one thing that if you're good at it, you're really good at it, but I don't think anybody's going to be able to stretch it out tonight. You might be trying to stretch it out as long as you can and pray for a caution. That could really help you just gain track position, but the way that it's playing out right now, I think you don't want to try to get cute with your strategy. You just want to make as few risks as possible and just settle everything you can on the racetrack with the speed of your car.
And that's what these top 2 or 3 drivers are doing. They've got pretty good margins up to the next drivers. Beckett Brown now starting to close back up on 3rd place. Gavin Hinson, as it looks like the 39 might have brushed the outside wall there coming out of turn 4. And a little damage also on Beckett's right front. Everybody kind of pushing every square inch of racetrack as far as they can, running into the outside safer barriers a few times there. But yeah, the 39 starting to fall off just a little bit on this lap. Beckett has closed right up now, 3 car lengths behind, as it looks like we also had some battles just outside the top 10 that seem to have cleared up at this point. So this will be your furthest forward battle. And here comes the 45 now, going to take a peek to the inside lane, down into turn number 1. Should have the advantage on this end of the racetrack. 39 not going to give him a ton of space. It's not really going to matter all that much, though, if he can't pull him back enough. He does with the side draft into turn number 3.
Yeah, this is what you're going to want to watch right here. It's 39. No, he can't do it. I was going to say if he can roll the top and get some more momentum on him, but he wasn't able to do it there in the 45 driving away down the front straightaway.
It looks like Isaac Wilson maybe getting around Rayshon Winkfield right there. River Hayes, your points leader, down 1 position from where he started and starting to close in on this top 5 battle. The driver who's won 4 races out of the first 13. Somebody to watch, right? That's a pretty high win percentage, and obviously has had a lot of speed this season. And now closing in on the 6th place driver in that 35. As we take a look a little further back, Corey Powell, Matthew Gary, these guys 20th and 21st, a pretty tight battle. And then behind them, you see 3 or 4 cars under a blanket, all fighting for positions inside the top 25. Also, Clayton Good has been pretty much locked in on a battle. It's, you know, this whole run. This time it's with Dylan Brumley in the number 2 machine. As they both go to the top side of the racetrack, you can see Clayton now decides to cut it down in the center of the turn, and he's going to have a great run off the corner. Across the start-finish line here, doesn't quite have the advantage. Now he does, and into turn number 1 shouldn't be an issue. He's able to clear and get that position away. He'll take 14th.
Yeah, that was a really impressive move by him there. It's really the one spot I think you have to focus on here in Kentucky is the center of 3 to the exit of 4. Turns 1 and 2 are very one lane, very bottom dominant. So you have to have momentum down the straightaway to make that pass into turn 1.
Yeah, and we're seeing drivers who just miss it, right? You get a little tight on exit, you get a little too close to that outside wall, throttle up just a little too early, and yeah, that's really going to cost you on that whole front straightaway. As battle right here, Colin Bollinger and Dustin Lewis, and then here comes Jacob Cochran closing in as well in the number 88 VSPEED machine. We'll go on board with him, see what he's able to do here. This battle inside the top 10. We haven't noted if these drivers are shifting all that much, but it looks like sticking it out in 5th gear on this end of the track. Has to check up a little. Dustin Lewis with the momentum on the top side, able to hold him off for the moment. Over here, still sticking in 5th gear, no dropping down to 4th, all the way down to 150 miles an hour, and then they get upwards of 185 by the time they get back on the brakes into turn number 1. That's probably topping 190 earlier in the run, with these guys about a second off of their fast laps, if not more, for some drivers.
Yeah, there is a lot of time to be lost with tire fall off here. And I'm kind of thinking that we're getting close to the halfway point in this run.
Yeah,
we might actually be exactly at, yep, there they are.
Yeah, as you say it, they're all bringing it down here. So that'll be your race leader. Now hand the lead to Isaac Wilson. So it's Devin Curl, Anthony Marino, Beckett Brown, Brumley. All these guys are going to bring it in here, and we'll see what kind of pit stops they can have. Don't want any mistakes, but if you're going to have one on pit road, I guess better to make it early so you can have time to recover. Now we'll see if the rest of these leaders choose to respond or what their strategy is going to look like. But they are all fighting for it up here. These top 4 separated by less than a half second.
Yeah, really good racing up here. I'm taking a look at these pit stop times, and most of them are around or if not under the 10-second mark. So I'm imagining a lot of these guys are taking 2 tires here.
Yeah, it looks like Corey Powell with a black flag. So he's got a speeding penalty there. Extended stop, as now Rayshon Winkfield going to peel off onto pit road. And he's going to slide the back end, getting on the brakes. Able to keep it pointed in the right direction, so nice job there. Holding on to it. I would expect a few more drivers potentially to bring it in here as these pit stops continue. But yeah, just 25 to go in this stage. they are clicking them off fast.
Yeah, they're really cutting into this now and cutting into the stage now. And I'm watching these guys that are choosing to stay out now. I do kind of like this. You are going to give up some speed, but what you might be able to do here is have newer tires for the end of this run and catch back up to those guys who pit before you.
Yeah, and there is some decent fall off, right? Some tracks you won't see all that much fall off, but yeah, these are about a second to a second and a half in certain cases, so it's going to be very nice to have fresh Goodyear Eagles on there. As yeah, we're just waiting to see how this all shakes out. No real battles to speak of inside the top 5. River Hayes is putting a little pressure on Gavin Hinson, but nobody is side by side. We see some smoke on the front straightaway. No caution for anything at this point. Here comes Colin Bollinger, who is up there battling inside the top 10 for a while. He's back on the racetrack. 9.6 seconds on pit road. So yeah, I think you're right. Maybe just 2 tires on pretty much everyone that's brought it in. We do see a 14-second stop for Rayshawn Winkfield, and that's putting him behind all of these drivers that are back on the racetrack and up to speed.
Yeah, this is going to be good to watch. Really going to help us decipher which is the correct move, because if Rayshawn can run these guys back down, he did lose about 4 seconds to them with taking 4 tires. If he can catch back up to him, that's a strategy you probably want to play in stage 2 as well.
Yeah, and that'll end up being about the same type of lap breakup, because it's lap 55, 115. We're going to have some caution laps in there, so it'll work out to be almost the exact same, realistically, green flag stage length. Still no cautions here in this one, and these guys out in front maybe hoping that something could happen, trap those guys a lap down who are up at the front. But yeah, still just your top 3 out here by a good margin. Dustin Lewis in 4th. He's got about 2.5 seconds up to River Hayes, and he's under a little bit of pressure. Actually, rather, that's a driver who's already brought it in. And here comes Dustin Lewis, bringing it down onto pit road. He's going to bring a whole host of other drivers, I believe. So that is a few more bringing it down here, and that's a bit of an overcut, right? These guys are about 6 laps late compared to the leaders. If you really want to make that work, it might have to be more like 10 or 12, and we're getting there pretty soon.
Yeah, and I think the only way here to make the undercut work is to not take tires and then have that extra set of tires laid back for the rest of the race. But giving these guys 7 sets in the pits, I don't think running out of tires is really something we're going to have to worry about unless we see a very chaotic final stage.
And so the way that this has shaken out, the first driver to have pit still 1 lap down is Anthony Marino. He's up to 9th place already. He's gotten around Devin Curl, who led the opening section of this race. And it looks like a few more bringing it down now. River Hayes, Clayton Good, Caleb Hunt with a black flag in the 19 machine, so that's going to be costly. He'll have to stay on pit road for an extended amount of time. Likely will lose a lap. Isaac Wilson, Gavin Hinson, Jared Knopfsnyder, and James Sturdivant, Reggie Kime. Those are your last 5 to have not brought it down. Everyone else has already made their first pit stop. So we'll see when these drivers elect to do it. It looks like the leader, Isaac Wilson, is going to peel off here, so he'll bring it in. Lap number 38, Gavin Hinson going to close up to him on pit entry, and he'll be bringing it down as well. Jared Knopfsnyder, James Sturdivant a ways behind. We'll see what they elect to do. Looks like the 82 also going to bring it down. That leaves just 2 more to make their way around, and 67 will bring it in. Reggie Kime going to do the same. This is probably about as far as they can go on fuel.
Yeah, I think 38 laps was the number we had a few nights ago. So to see them make it 39 laps, that really does make sense. And it's going to show us, now we know how long you can go on a fuel run, and you're not going to make either of these stages in 1 stop. So, or without stopping, I guess.
So that definitely helps clarify some things. Anthony Marino to the top of the leaderboard, and Beckett Brown has gotten around Devin Curl. So maybe the 15 car not liking the 2-tire decision, and maybe just struggling in the dirty air now that he's not got the control of the lead. still within 2 seconds, but Anthony Marino looking like he might be able to get the stage win in about 15 laps time. And they all pit on the same lap, so no real difference there. And Devin Curl actually had a shorter pit stop and shorter time on pit lane, so obviously just not a great entry, or really struggled on exit a little bit there, because he had a substantial lead before the pit cycle started.
Yeah, and it kind of makes me wonder if he didn't take tires at all, only took that gas, because he's really plowing in turn 4 there and just not able to get the power down like the cars in front of him.
Yeah, and the lap times kind of reflect a driver who hasn't put any tires on it. So 8.3 seconds in the box would be enough to fill it up on fuel, but you would also think you could maybe put a couple of tires on it. And we're seeing some other drivers, with 6.7 and 7-second stops. Those are likely fuel only. But anything around 10 seconds or less, you would think it would probably be a 2-tire pit stop. But maybe not the case for the 15, continuing to lose time. And Anthony Marino, though, taking over that top spot. He's now led 3 laps and starting to drive away from Beckett Brown, who had a really nice sequence there on pit road, able to get up to 2nd place.
What's really impressing me about Anthony Marino right here was that entry to turn 3. You saw him, how he was able to get down to the yellow line quite a bit better than anybody else we've seen on that end of the track.
Yeah, right here in 1 and 2, sticking it right down there in the inside lane. There's a little bit of rubber building up, so using that to his advantage as well. And then down into turn 3, this time, yeah, sends it right down to the yellow stripe, just about a foot in between that purple number 48 and the inside line. And Beckett Brown putting down some nice laps here. He's not letting the 48 just drive away, so it's possible that Anthony has maybe used his stuff a little more heavily, and the 45 was saving just a little bit for the end of this run. Either way, Devin Curl starting to fall back a little ways. They all have a huge advantage back to Colin Bollinger in that 53, and then River Hayes, the next one in line, probably fuel only in the 81. Side-by-side battle right here, the 93 and the 9. They are, I would expect, teammates running the old Evernham style numbers, but they are not on the same lap. The 9 of Reggie Kime is 1 lap down and not getting any closer to getting that lap back right now.
Yeah, it does seem like that 9 car is struggling. You can tell, I mean, obviously he is a lap down, but it just seems like he's not able to, well, right here he is. Just, when you get a lap down here, it's a struggle to get it back. Ooh, yeah, exactly, ooh.
Big hit there for Isaac Wilson as he slammed the outside safer barrier. It looked like the car almost came up off the ground. That is not what you want to be doing in these next-gen machines. They do have the composite bodies, but anytime you get a hard hit like that, you're looking at potentially suspension damage or steering damage. Looks to be okay for the moment, and no meatball flags or anything like that. Michael Wade back here starting to put some pressure on Zach White. Lauren Vincent, these cars kind of all under a blanket, fighting for positions inside the top 20 as we're under 10 to go to the end of the stage. And no real change up at the front. Here's a position up for grabs between the 63 of Corey Jones and 10 of Joshua Gillen. These drivers pit later in the cycle and do have 2 tires and potentially 4 tires for 63 of Corey Jones. Top driver with 4 tires would be Rayshawn Wingfield. We already noted that, and he's up to 8th position. We'll see how much he can close in on Gavin Hinson and Isaac Wilson in front.
Yeah, I think when Rayshawn Wingfield went into the pits, he was in 6th position. So if he can get up to 5th, that is a net gain for him. And right now it looks like he might do it, because this car with those 2 extra tires is just carrying so much more speed, as you can see right here in 3 and 4, using the fresh air and the new tires, both to his advantage. Going to use that to get around Gavin Hinson right here.
Yeah, nice job getting to the outside there in turns 3 and 4. And now that number 93, we just noted, hit the outside wall pretty hard. So this will be another opportunity for another position gain. Big run on the top side there for Winkfield as he'll now take a look into turn number 3, see if he can make the same exact move. Isaac Wilson on those 2 tires, or actually this is fuel only for the 93, so doing a nice job, respectable job there, trying to hold on to that position, but I think it's going to be more than likely that the 35 will make his way around here, and he's doing just that in turns 1 and 2. Just so good back on throttle with those 4 tires. And the next one in front, River Hayes. This would be for that 5th position, that net gain we were just talking about. Gavin Hinson now taking a look to the inside of Jacob Cochran. And it looks like maybe another hit to the outside wall there for Isaac Wilson, or maybe it was the 35 this time, as he is slow on the front straightaway with a lot of right front damage.
Yeah, fresh tires don't really help you when your car has a significant spot with damage on that right front. And yeah, he definitely got into the wall there, as you can see.
Yeah, pretty hard hit. He's still got good speed now that he's got the momentum once again. Now going to take a look to the inside of River Hayes. This is a battle for 5th position. And they're going to slam doors across the start-finish line here. Nobody giving an inch as they work down into turn number 1. Not going to be a problem, though, for the 35. Maybe there was a little something there that caused the 35 to get into the wall, and he was just communicating that. Didn't see what happened exactly, but we'll have to look back at the replay there at some point and see if they had a little bit of a run-in. Either way, 35 Rayshon Winkfield, those 4 tires up into the top 5 now, and he's got his work cut out to get to 4th. It seems pretty unlikely at this point with 3 laps in the stage remaining. He's got to gain about 4.5 seconds, so probably not going to happen. But Anthony Marino doing exactly what he needs to do, and just about to put that 79 machine a lap down. That would be the 19th position of Matthew Gary. So yeah, he's setting the pace here tonight at Kentucky.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job up here. And I've said it earlier, but the way he can wrap turn 1 and 2 and wrap the bottom in 3 and 4 is great for his long run speed. You're keeping those tires cooler. You're not carrying as much speed on the bottom, but you're still getting through the corner quick.
Doing a fantastic job out in front, and lap 55 now going to go up on the board. So he'll work his way back around to try and get that stage win, battling inside the top 10. We've got Dustin Lewis, Gavin Hinson. These guys facing off right here. That's the number 8 machine and the 39, trying to get a top 10 stage finish. Doesn't look like anybody's going to be able to catch the 48 machine. He'll come across the stripe. Beckett Brown in that 2nd place. Devin Curl, who led much of the opening part of this race, going to fall to 3rd here, and we'll see if we get that stage caution. And there it is as the top 10 drivers cross the start finish line. So Anthony Marino Jr., your stage 1 winner. Congrats to him. And great job with the strategy call and execution on pit road to get that one.
Yeah, all around just perfect execution. Like you said, take 2 tires, split the stage pretty much in half. Get out front once Devin Curl started to slow down and just not make any mistakes. Great job by Anthony Marino.
As I work back up to the iRacing pace car and get things slowed up. And we're left with just 18 on the lead lap. And Matthew Gary, I believe, should get that lucky dog. And we'll see if anybody elects to stay out. But I think it's going to be a tough one to do that. You're really going to flip strategies on their heads as we have a car going around on the backstretch. That is the 51 of Zachary King, who is trying to get checked up. He hit the inside wall pretty hard here.
Yeah, let's check this out here. Oh, just trying to not rear end anybody, has to lock it up. heavy into the inside wall there. And you have to know where the pace car is, where the cars around you are under caution, and that's just a mental mistake and something that's easy to do, and a lot of people have done that, but when you're the one that does it and it happens to you, you're frustrated and you can only be frustrated at yourself.
Yeah, definitely not a good thing to do. Luckily, he's under yellow here, so going to be able to get some of that damage cleaned up, but you don't want to have that on the front end of your race car at a track like Kentucky. So aero dependent are these next gen machines, and getting down into turn one requires really both fenders on that race car. So he and the crew have some work cut out for him, as at the front, Anthony Marino going to win that battle off pit road. Close battle there. It looked like a close battle for second. I thought it was going to be, but the 15 just could not get the tires hooked up, and he's going to fall back to third where he entered pit lane. Colin Bollinger up 23 positions, continuing to move forward. He's going to come out fourth, and Isaac Wilson will come out here in the fifth position. We're going to step aside quickly for a quick word from one of our sponsors, and we will be right back.
Is going to take the victory 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's going to get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Back at Kentucky here with the Hudson Auto Works 500, and the field working up to the pace car, and we should get the green flag this time. Just one caution for the stage, and Anthony Marino Jr., your stage one winner, and stage two coming up here in just a moment. Lap 115. Some of these drivers have already used a couple of sets of tires through the first two pit stops, and the fuel load showing we can go maybe 39-40 laps at the most. So it's going to be interesting, I think, with stage three, the final stage of this race, to see who's going to be able to make it the rest of the way from there. As Anthony Marino Jr., Beckett Brown, your front row, going to get us going once again here at Kentucky. Green flag is out. We're off and away.
Yeah, really good start by both drivers on the front row, able to file in line in front of Devin Curl there. And now you see fourth on back, still too wide. They're going to slow each other down with the side draft a little bit down the back stretch and allow these guys to get out front.
Yeah, it looks like top four kind of all settle out. And then here comes Dustin Lewis, full head of steam to the outside of the 93 of Isaac Wilson. And a little contact there into the outside wall. Goes the 91 machine of Clayton Good. And a few cars into the wall there, headed into turn number one, just kind of following the leader there. Very easy to do. You can't really see all that far in front of you in these NASCARs. So sometimes you just go right in the line where the guys in front of you are, and they lead you right into some damage on your race car.
Yeah, you're always supposed to use the track as a reference point, not the car in front of you, but when you get around too many cars, you can't see the track, so you have to do what whoever's in front of you is doing and just hope that it's right.
Yeah, a couple different approaches here in turn one. We see that is the 53 of Colin Bollinger, again, biggest mover of the night. He's up here in the top five. He's gained 23 positions from the start of this race, continuing to march forward. And this is a very impressive performance to this point. He has been very strong this season as well. You know, just consistent with that. Again, here tonight, started all the way at the back and just working his way methodically up through here and now into the top 5 with a shot and getting up here battling for the lead as we have a caution coming out. I believe James Sturdivant involved in this one and maybe a couple of others. Let's take a look. Ooh, I see the 79 with a big moment up in front of him. So Matthew Gary may have been where this started. Coming across the start-finish line, really unusual.
That is almost like something disconnected with his wheel or pedals, and like that's almost what it looked like, is something on his sim rig messed up causing that.
Yeah, really unusual. The car just kind of started to wiggle, and then he could not hang on to it. And then big hit there for Sturdivant, who goes head on into the outside wall. And the Spaceballs number 67. That is unfortunate for him. And there was another driver involved in this. Was that the 81?
I believe that was River Hayes.
Wow, a driver who was running up towards the front in this race. Yeah, nowhere for him to go. Maybe not huge contact, but a little bit of damage there. You can see on the right side of River Hayes' machine. So not the way he would have liked that to go. And I'm not sure why he was all the way at the back there. If maybe it was just, oh, it looks like he did top up on fuel at the end of the caution. So he put himself back at the back of the field and kind of got in harm's way there, unfortunately. And that'll happen. That's kind of the place in the field that type of thing tends to happen.
Yeah, I understand topping off for fuel if you're already back in the back half of the pack, but if you're a guy who's usually running in the top 10, I just don't know if one lap of fuel is worth it.
A few drivers going to bring it in here to top up and maybe some damage repair for a few of them. Yeah, quite a few. River Hayes, one of those, also going to join in. He's now got that damage that's got to be cleaned up. So our first caution for cause here tonight. And I'm a little surprised by that. Sometimes turn 1 can be kind of like a bull rush, right? Everybody trying to get down to the inside lane, and you'll get a few cars, you know, just fighting for the same track position. But that has not happened really here tonight. So other than, you know, very early in the race there in the first 5 laps, we saw the 27 of Christian Barnes get pushed up out of the way and hard into the outside wall, but that didn't ultimately bring out the yellow flag.
Yeah, but, you know, that wreck right there is really unfortunate. First cause caution we just had, and you said there was that accident early in stage 1, but those guys did a good job, you know, resetting their car and getting off the track. But with the amount of carnage with just those 3 cars, I mean, there's no way that wasn't going to bring out a caution.
Right. Yeah, that is for sure a caution. We should get the one to go this time, and we'll see where they elect to pick their lanes as. Wow, way up into the outside wall goes Beckett Brown. I think this is this the lane choice here, the choose cone? Is that what we're doing here?
Yeah, they're got to be on one side or another of the Kentucky Speedway written across the start-finish line. So they're being very attentive about, you know, getting all the way to the top or all the way to the bottom. They don't want to get a violation and have to go to the back.
Yeah, that seems tricky. I mean, Beckett Brown ran all the way into the outside wall, right?
Yeah.
Trying to do that. There must not be enough room in the outside of the start-finish line there where it says the text on the line itself, but he should be okay. Didn't hit it all that hard, but it's kind of strange to see that. I've seen leagues use the yellow line down at the bottom at a certain point, you know, at the pit exit cone. They'll use that sometimes, but that's pretty far around here at Kentucky, so makes sense to do it maybe up there on the front straightaway. Either way, they've selected their lanes. Anthony Marino Jr. going to be to the inside, and Beckett Brown going to be on the outside. We'll see which lane is going to get the advantage on the restart, and if any of these guys can find some running room on the top side to try and make a move and get some of these positions here while the field is all bunched up. Pace car is in. We'll head back to green in just a second here as the leaders pull us into our restart zone. A nice jump that time for Anthony Marino. And Beckett Brown into second as he has secured that spot. Devin Curl, Dustin Lewis going to battle it out side by side, but looks like Devin Curl rather, is going to settle into that third position. Lots of black flags on the restart here. Not sure what happened to all of these guys. Maybe jumped it a little bit, or maybe just not a great I don't know if they just timed it wrong. They should clear all those, but 3 wide here on the front straightaway for a moment as the 51 was speaking to the middle.
Yeah, those black flags I think were due to the choosing process because it's not built into iRacing, but they all got cleared I think by now.
All right, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Sometimes you can get one if you jump just a little too early, but yeah, good thing that they're on top of it here. 35 machine of Rayshon Winkfield down to the inside. He had stayed on pit road for some extended repairs a couple of cautions ago, and now he's trying to make up that track position once again and up into the top 10. So doing a good job here recovering already. He's going to get to the inside of Michael Wade, try and complete that pass down here in turns 3 and 4. Wade though with the momentum on the top, but you can see that 35 just so strong in the center. Back to the throttle with commitment as we've got a car sliding in the back here. Not sure who that was. Dylan Brumley, I think. The 2 machine is he goes for a ride through the grass.
Honestly, I'm just impressed that he managed to keep it off of pit road and avoid that black flag.
Caught the outside walls. We take a look at the replay. And yeah, nice job. And you can see it's pretty bumpy down there through the Kentucky bluegrass.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, kind of went for a monster truck ride there. NASCAR showed up, but we had a Monster Jam event.
You don't even need to build ramps for these cars because they're so stiff. Any little bump, you'll really feel it, and you will see it in that case. As we're taking a look here inside the top 10, it's a pretty tight battle between John Ullman in that 8th position, and really close racing. There's the 39 of Gavin Hinson, pulls right to the back bumper. He's all over Michael Wade, and I'm not sure if that 5 machine is maybe on an alternate tire strategy or something didn't sit right after that last pit stop, because he has started to fade here. And Zachary King now completing that pass behind them. Lauren Vincent River Hayes, remember he was collected in the last one. He's trying to recover now and looking to the outside, trying to get into the top 10. He gets around Lauren Vincent though off of turn number 4. Now sight set on Michael Wade. And a really good run for River here as he gets that outside position into turn number 1. Goes all the way up the hill, and see what he's able to do. Gets really tight at this end of the racetrack when you're trying to run up there on the top side, and he does a great job able to keep it in line with the 5 machine, and this side of the racetrack should be able to clear on through. But the 2 cars in front of him battling door to door, that's Zach King and Gavin Hinson.
Yeah, these 3 drivers right here all seem to be running slightly a different pace. I think the 39 is going to clear the 51 here, and they should be able to single file out as they're catching up to John Ullman now.
Yeah, Ullman with a problem there. Really slow on the top side. Not sure if he's maybe not bent a toe link on that car. The Slim Chickens number 34 Camaro, and a big slide from the 51. Yeah, Zachary King, he's slow now. All these guys trying to find running room, and it's 3 wide, 2 rows deep. This isn't going to work out into turn number 1.
No, it's not. It looked to me like River Hayes got into Zachary King just a tiny, tiny bit, but everybody was able to save it, collect it, and you know, you lose a few spots after that contact, but seems to be handling the car all right and no damage for Zach King there.
Yeah, and River Hayes able to get on through all of that, and the 88 of Jacob Cochran, a little rub to the outside safer barrier, but he's got great momentum now, takes A look to the outside of Michael Wade. Now looks back to the inside. Wade goes really wide, all the way up to the outside wall, and trying to pull a little crossover here onto the back straightaway. Not quite able to get back alongside, but really interesting stuff here in the back half of the top 10. Up at the front, things are is business as usual for Anthony Marino Jr. He has started to drive away now, 0.8 of a second. And Michael Wade, hard hit as caution should fly, and there it is. That car is likely done for the day.
Yeah, he got absolutely obliterated from behind there. It looked like he had a little bit of contact right before we swapped up to that picture of the leader, but I think he had a lot more contact afterwards.
Battling with the 51, got all the way down on the apron, then lost the handle, and then up into the outside wall, and then locked the brakes down and just nowhere to go for the 29 of Corey Powell, and that is a huge hit for both drivers.
Really, really unfortunate. I think usually on Wednesday nights we get a fast repair. I'm assuming that these guys get a fast repair, but probably just one, so shouldn't be a night ender, but man, that was a hard lick for both these guys.
Yeah, I think I hear maybe another car sliding. Yeah, I see some smoke across the start-finish line. So we had another accident. That's the 51 of Zachary King, who went for a big slide afterwards. What happened to him? He already had issues on the backstretch, and you see going through those bumps in the Kentucky Bluegrass there, and then across the start-finish line. Oh man, close call.
I don't know how they avoided him there. That's impressive.
Yeah, and he's lucky to have survived that one. And I'm not seeing any fast repairs for these drivers tonight. So
all right,
I believe they do not have that luxury this evening.
A lot of guys coming to pit road here, which I think we can make it to the end of the stage here, so it makes sense for guys to start pitting right now.
Yeah, this will be a pretty long run to the end of the stage, right? It would be basically as far as they can go on fuel, but I mean, any time saved on the racetrack is good, right? In the top three, rather top 5 or 6 now staying out on the track. So that's an interesting call by those guys. Maybe they're just expecting more yellow flags to come out like we've seen kind of over this stage so far.
Yeah, either that or, I mean, you're going to have to kind of push it to save that much gas. It's going to be about 36 laps from here. So maybe they just weren't really, it wasn't on their mind right then. And if we end up going green to the end of the stage, they're going to be in trouble.
Yeah, Rayshawn Wingfield going to win that battle off pit road. He just topped up on fuel, 6.2 seconds in the box. So he will win the battle off and move up to the 4th position. So only the top 3 have stayed out. And then the rest of the field has brought it down for some type of service, whether that's fuel only or tires. Remains to be seen. Looks like Gavin Hinson on back have all taken, pretty much all of them have taken 4 tires. So that'll be about 8th on back. And with 20 laps on the tires for the top 3, that may be a pretty significant disadvantage for those drivers. And it looks like maybe Devin Curl acknowledging that, that is the strategy that's going to help him out the best, is to come down here, and the top 2 will remain on the racetrack and kind of made their graves.
Yeah, it's a really aggressive call, staying out here, trying to stretch out what gas you have to the end of the stage, or just planning on everyone else to pit when you do. So it's a huge risk for these guys, because only one of them is going to be able to get the lucky dog, if they go a lap down.
Yeah, really tough call by those two. Maybe they weren't expecting everyone to bring it in, and then they had their opportunity to pit that second time by, probably closed pits, and they would have had the penalty and go to the end of the line there. But that's probably better than going a lap down and kind of being off sequence with everyone else. We'll have to see how it all shakes out. And Anthony Marino, though, has a big wrench potentially thrown in his stage winning plans, as it Looks like, yeah, we'll get the green flag this time. He'll choose the inside lane again. Beckett Brown up on the top side. Rayshon Winkfield now will restart in that third position, just fuel only, all the way back to Isaac Wilson in 6th, and then it's 7th on back with tires. So this could be a wild restart.
This situation right here, I've seen it here at Kentucky before. It is going to cause a lot of passing and a lot of aggressive moves. So strap in and buckle up here.
Green flag back out at Kentucky. And the top two get away pretty nicely. But those cars both hooking up pretty well. Rayshon Winkfield in that third position, not able to get by Dustin Lewis just yet. Still hanging close to that rear quarter panel. Now able to clear off at turn number 2. 8 Machine with a head of steam, though. We'll see if he tries to make any type of move to the inside. He will look low, but not quite close enough, as Winkfield has been very strong on this end of the racetrack. And now with the fuel to make it to the end of the stage, we'll see what he's able to do. You can see a little bit of a gaggle back here as well. Jacob Cochran, Caleb Hunt, Jack Pfeifner rather, and Zach White, Devin Curl, all the way in this mess on the outside there. So, you know, he kind of took his medicine and went to the back. We'll see if he's able to get into the top 10 for some stage points, or if he can avoid any chaos here in the remainder of the stage. As Zachary King, River Hayes fighting for position inside the top 10. In front of them, Clayton Good, Gavin Hinson, and others. Colin Bollinger there. All of those guys fighting side by side. Big move to the inside now from the 53. A little crossover. Not quite able to get alongside, but the 8 of Dustin Lewis going to give him some space. And here we go, side by side into turn number 3 and 4. The 8 Machine all the way up to the outside wall. Starting to feel those older tires just a little bit. Top 2 hanging on really nicely, though. No significant disadvantage to the cars behind them.
Yeah, and while all that battling is going on from 4th on back, Marino is just absolutely checked out in just a very short amount of time. He's got clean air, clean track in front of him. No worries unless this run goes long enough that he's going to have to pit.
Yeah, first car on tires is Clayton Good in that 91. He's up to the top 5 now, up 10 positions from where he started. Next target is Colin Bollinger, who's on fuel only. But the 91 under some pressure from Gavin Hinson. So these two both on that same strategy, the 91, the 39. Keep an eye on both of those drivers to maybe get up there and challenge those race leaders, especially once they pit. These next few cars in front of them are right in front. So this could be the battle for the stage win if things continue to stay green as we see it. And it looks like the lights may be coming on here at Kentucky. Conditions continuing to change. These drivers are going to have to tackle that as well.
Yeah, the lights come on, the sun goes down, and the track cools off just a little bit. Hasn't cooled off yet, still 74 degrees, but we can see the speeds pick up by a pretty significant amount, probably a couple tenths, and everybody's going to have a lot more grip, a lot more drive out of the corners, really.
Yeah, you may end up seeing the front tires start to wear a little bit more than the rears, or yeah, we'll have to see how that changes the dynamic of these cars. We'll see how drivers kind of tackle that final stage of the race as well, as we're getting to that point in the run, about 7 or 8 more laps, and these leaders are going to have to bring it on the pit road. And that's going to be a tough situation for both of them. I'm sure it will be fuel only to try and minimize their time lost, but going to be difficult to stay on the lead lap or even get back on the lead lap with that being the call. Battle right here, Dustin Lewis, Isaac Wilson, the 8 and the 93. River Hayes behind them, and the 19 of Caleb Hunt rounding out your top 10 for the moment. Devin Curl, who brought it in from 3rd, he's up to 15th, has not been able to make up any more ground than that, though he's got a couple of drivers directly in front, and Jack Pfeifner and Jacob Cochran, who are coming back towards him.
Yeah, Curl's doing a really good job here on the bottom. I like that. He doesn't really have that much clean air, but he's able to make this pass. Well, I thought he was going to be able to make the pass. Can't clear him. Should be able to clear down here in 3 and 4. Washes up a little bit. He's going to drive down the track and get a 2-for-1 right here.
Yeah, really nice job. 88 really got tight at the exit of turn number 4. He's got some damage that he's been working on getting repaired. So Devin Curl, who led the opening 27 laps of this race, trying to work his way back into the top 10. Here comes the 88 now back to the inside. So I take back what I just said. I thought he had damage, but looks like they've gotten that cleaned up, and he's still fighting back here. So good battle there. It looks like it is done now as first car on tires, Gavin Hinson into the top 5. Colin Bollinger, Rayshawn Winkfield, who are good on fuel in 3rd and 4th right in front. They're hoping this thing could stay green as well, and they may have a shot at the stage win. Everything pretty much single file amongst the top 10. And then no battles further back at the moment. Guys kind of settled in here for the next 20 laps or so and see who can make it to the end of this stage. And here comes the battle now for 3rd.
Yeah, side by side right now. Rayshawn Wakefield's going to clear him in that Coca-Cola car.
Yeah, looks like Rayshawn able to hold that position. Colin Bollinger in that 4th spot. Not quite able to work on by. Tried to take a peek to the outside earlier, but a little contact there for Gavin Hinson into the outside wall, and he may have some steering damage. Just wiggles the car to check. As they dive back into turn number 1, the battle now between Hinson and Good. Really tight racing into 1 and 2, and it looks like Clayton Good able to complete the pass off of turn 2 just by the skin of his teeth there. Slips right up in front of the 39 machine. And so maybe Hinson with a little bit of damage to the suspension with that hit to the outside wall. Behind them, Isaac Wilson, Dustin Lewis. These guys have been battling for quite a few laps, continuing to do battle inside the top 10. And it looks like Dustin Lewis up here on the top side, going to try and pinch him down, get right along that right rear quarter panel. And he's going to have a good run down the back straightaway into turn number 3. The 93 fights back, gets that advantage on turn entry, but 8 with that momentum on the top should be able to clear if he can get a good run on this end of the track, and he does. Across the start-finish line, he'll settle into that 7th position. Your race leaders coming up on pit window time. It's just about 2 or 3 laps that they can go before they're going to have to bring it in.
Yeah, and I think those cautions that we had did help them save a little bit of gas, so they might be able to make it, 5, 6, or 7 laps, but I don't think they can make it more than 7. I think is going to be the cutoff there for how many laps they can go.
As we saw a battle there for just a moment, Devin Curl continuing to rebound. Looks to the inside now of the 07, Lauren Vincent, who caught the outside wall off turn number 3. Colin Bollinger gets by Rayshawn Winkfield while we were taking a look at that battle as well. So he moves into 3rd. Says it's go time. Those 2 leaders are going to have to pit. I better get to the next best spot. And that's exactly what he's done, putting down a pretty good lap right here, actually. Take a look at the stripe. He was the fastest car up here in the top 10. Fastest car on the racetrack that time around with a 30.75 to the leader's 30.81 and a 30.87 directly in front of him. So this 53 coming on here at the right time.
Yeah, that 53 car, we saw Rayshawn Winkfield get around him earlier, but Winkfield's kind of starting to fall off and Bollinger's picking up. So you can really see the difference between a short run driver and a long run driver right here, and which one's going to be fast when it comes down to the end of this race.
Yeah, and Bollinger up 24 positions, your biggest mover by far. We've noted it multiple times throughout this race, but has just continued to march forward slowly but surely. And, Rayshawn Winkfield here, he's up 6 spots. Clayton Good up 10. This tire strategy definitely helping to gain some track position in the second part of stage number 2, as here comes Anthony Marino Jr. He's going to have to bite the bullet and bring it down pit road.
Yeah, and let's see right here what he does. If he just goes for gas only and gets back out there as quick as he can, or if he's going to try to take it maybe 2 tires and be a little bit faster than everybody. That way he's in a better spot. But it looks like he's going to end up going at least 1 lap down because he hasn't even started his pit stop until just now.
Yeah, and Beckett Brown, he's still on the racetrack. He's now 41 laps on this run. Make that 42. So, you know, obviously the clean air and being out in front can cause you to have a little worse fuel mileage. You've got all that air resistance, and the guy in second maybe gets a little draft off you, can save a little bit more. Maybe Beckett did a little better job, or maybe he's just committed to trying to go as far as possible, hoping for that yellow flag. He might have 1 more lap in him, I think, before he'll probably have to bring it down here. 42 laps on this stint. Impressive that he's still out in front. Colin Bollinger is tracking him down.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job on speed, but unfortunately, when you look at the distance he has to go and how much is left in this stage, the math ain't mathin'.
Yeah, that's as bluntly as I think you can put it, right? I mean, the 45, he knows the time's coming. He's just got to be hoping for that yellow flag to fly, and what a break that would be. The gap now just over a 1/4 second between these top 2, and the 35 also kind of coming in tow. It's just 3/4 of a second now between all of them. A little ways back to Clayton Good, who's made good on those fresh Goodyear Eagles. A lot of good happening there, and up to that 4th position. Just not quite able to get close enough to maybe battle for the stage win. As here comes Beckett Brown now. He'll bring it in from the race lead. Went 44 laps on this stint. Very impressive to be able to do that and stay out there with the race lead for a few laps. But ultimately going to have to give it up, as taking a look at the last pit stop, Anthony Marino Jr. looks like a 2-tire call potentially. 9 seconds in the box. We'll see what Beckett Brown ends up doing. But Anthony Marino Jr. is about a straightaway and a half behind the race leader. And luckily he's got the lucky dog machine right here in front of him of Joshua Gillen, and that'll be an important position to get back. You really want that lucky dog if you can get it. And Beckett Brown with a shorter cycle working up onto the racetrack. Is he going to be able to get out in front of those guys? There is Joshua Gillen and Anthony Marino, and they're going to go around the outside. So Beckett Brown now in 3rd for that lucky dog position. Gonna have to take a wave around potentially if they get at the end of the stage here, if they don't get a caution.
Yeah, and that's not what you want to have to do in that situation, because if you didn't take tires there, you're on old tires. You can't pit when you take the wave around. So not only are you going to be at the back of the pack, you are going to be significantly slower than the cars around you who all pit and take those fresh tires. So sure, the strategy might work out for you if the race goes green or for long enough or has a yellow fast enough, but you have to have so many things play out perfectly for you right now if you end up having to take that wave around.
Yeah, it's tough because you could kind of, you know, bite the bullet and then just take the 4 tires, and, you know, you'd be in a little better position. Is Beckett Brown now actually going to work around Anthony Marino Jr.? So the 48 struggling back out here on the racetrack once they've gotten back up to speed. And Joshua Gillen is hanging on to this lucky dog position. I mean, he is running 17th, you know, just of his own merit here. 1 lap down, and the 2 drivers who were out in front before have not been able to catch him. They're going to run out of time if they can't get there in the next 8 laps.
Yeah, they might have not taken tires at all if they're not able to keep up with this 10 car, because, and no disrespect to the 10 car, but the cars that are chasing him were the 2 fastest cars on the track for a long time tonight.
Yeah, and Reggie Kime just brought it down as well. Saw him in the background of one of those shots there earlier. But he just brought it in to make his pit stop. He had gone a long ways on that stint as well. 42 laps for him from when he had last pit. But out in front, Bollinger loving what he's seeing. No traffic out in front. No worries. And I believe his teammate behind him here in that 2nd spot. And then the 91 machine having a great second stage, up 12 positions from where he started. But this 53, biggest mover, has finally made it from the back of the pack to the race lead.
Yeah, that is a really impressive run. It took him right around 100 laps to do it. But man, that is so impressive to see somebody go to the back to the front, no matter what race car or what racetrack you are at.
Yeah, and just a testament to how fast he is here tonight and how patient as well, because you can try and race your way up to the front a lot faster than that, but might cause some problems, and he's done it nicely. No real run-ins or anything like that. How about Devin Curl, though, starting to make his way back forward? You know, kind of took the medicine there, like we said, before the green flag came back out and went down and topped up, and he's now back into the top 10 in such a huge advantageous position compared to the other two leaders who didn't bring it down. As we're taking a look at that battle for the lucky dog as well, Beckett Brown still has it, and Joshua Gillen has it, and Beckett Brown and Anthony Marino Jr. are over a second behind, and we are just 5 laps from the end of this stage. Good
So
battle.
we're going to get...
Oh, I was going to say, good battle right there coming off of turn number 2. The 07 Lauren Vincent trying to get up into the top 10 for stage points, and Jacob Cochran, they were leaning on each other there off of turn number 2. A lot of contact as another car, the 8 machine of Dustin Lewis here in 8th. He's going to get into the outside wall, lose a position to Zachary King, and then here comes the 19 of Caleb Hunt. These are precious points slipping away here at the very end of stage number 2.
Yeah, every point matters here because we have a really long season, really long regular season. Every point matters. When you can get it, you can take it, and those stage points will add up. So losing 2 spots, it might only hurt a little, but you can't let that happen.
Yeah, just a little self-inflicted mistake there, getting into the outside wall. Just a couple more laps in this stage for Colin Bollinger, who's just driven nearly a perfect race to this point. Rayshawn Wingfield behind him there, 1 second back. The battle for that second position could be developing as Clayton Good is starting to close in, and he's pushing really hard, almost gets into the outside wall, but he is putting down a really nice lap right here, faster than your leader, trying to close up on that 35 machine, and then just, it is chaos here inside the back half of the top 10. These guys have been kind of coming and going, and it seems like some of these drivers have been saving for just this exact moment to make their run to get those stage points. Others are starting to fade, making mistakes, and it's interesting to see how this is all developed here. Lap 115 going to go up on the board, though, for the 53 of Bollinger. Looks like this stage win is going to be in his hands.
Yeah, Colin Bollinger, all he has to do to get this stage 2 win is just have a clean turn 3 and 4 and don't make a mistake, and I don't expect him to right here.
Yeah, really nice run through 3 and 4. Going to take it nice and easy through that middle lane there. And looking back at the lucky dog position, Joshua Gillen hanging on to it in that 10 car. Beckett Brown, Anthony Marino Jr. not going to be able to catch up to him as we wait for the top 10 to work their way across the start finish line. And we should get the caution here any moment. Maybe not. There it is. Okay, caution is going to fly. And Colin Bollinger, your stage 2 race winner. So great job there from the 53. Again, putting up a fantastic performance so far in this one. From the back to the front, taking over the latest lead change here with just 4 cautions in tonight's race. 2 of those now for the stages. And everybody's going to bring it down here. That was a pretty long run, close to the fuel window, 38 laps.
Yeah, everybody that pit there at the they made the right call because those 2 drivers up front had to pit. They're a lap down now, and that's just 2 really fast cars that I'm not going to say are off the board or out of contention for the race, but they have to really have things fall their way now.
Yeah, their race is not really in their own hands anymore. It's kind of at the mercy of what happens around them. We'll see what they elect to do, and no doubt they'll likely get back on the lead lap just from a wave around, and there's a few other cars who are eligible for that as well, but I believe they are going to have to pit because they've gone 38 laps on fuel. So as the leaders are going to bring it in here, we'll see a handful stay out, being the lap machines. We'll see who wins the battle off pit road. Clean air seems like it's been extremely valuable as always, but maybe even more so here tonight at Kentucky.
Yeah, getting in and out of your pit box right here is going to be really important because you just talked about that clean air. These are two teammates up front, so they're probably going to block off that front row when they come to the choose cone. I don't see any reason they would start nose to tail, so you have to have a good restart here after we get off pit road and really try to pick up a spot or two on pit road if you can, getting in and out of your box as fast as possible.
There we see Bollinger working off of pit road. Yep, no change amongst the top 2 or 3. Looks like things pretty much going to stay as they were amongst our top 10 here. Taking a look at Beckett Brown, Anthony Marino Jr. Anthony Marino brought it back down pit road, so he's got some damage that he just got cleaned up as well. 26 seconds in the box. Beckett Brown going to stay out. I thought he would. No, he actually brought it down as well. So all of these drivers bringing it in. So they are not going to take a wave around here. Interesting call. As we are just 90 laps, just under 90 laps at the end of this race. It would have almost worked out for them to have stayed out. They could have pit when they needed to and then made it on one more stop from there. Would have been an interesting pathway for them to go, and they would have been on the lead lap, but that is not how they're going to elect to do it. As pace car across the start finish line, they're going to choose for these race leaders. There go a couple of the wave around machines. That is John Ullman, and Joshua Gillen did get the lucky dog, so 17 still on the lead lap here tonight. What do you think the key is going to be here in this final stage?
I think it's going to be getting to the clean air as fast as you can here at the start of this run and just maintain clean air.
Yeah, so the teammates on that front row with a big advantage with that, but we've seen other drivers make their way back into the top 10 who were fast throughout this race. River Hayes, Devin Curl, those guys have been fast all night long, and now with a shot to get up back into that clean air as well. I'm sure they're going to push pretty hard these opening few laps while they have an opportunity to. And then we'll see how drivers fare over this next long run. But 2 stages down, final stage to go here from Kentucky in the Mystic Racing League. It's been a fun one. Just 4 cautions and the field in the hands of Bollinger and Winkfield. These two so good in the second stage, put themselves in a good position for a potential race win. Green flag is back out here. We're underway. Battle for third right now. Big send by River Hayes. He's got that track position back finally. Looks to the inside. Winkfield, who did not have a great restart, fell from second. Now back to that 4th position. Zachary King looks like he's losing some ground right here. Nearly 4 wide on the front straightaway, banging doors into turn number 1. Tight racing, and there goes the 88, able to clear. And they're still 3 wide. Zachary King in the middle. This is going to get really tight on exit. Almost a little contact right there, but nice job by all of these guys to keep it pointed in the right direction for now. But that was a couple of close calls right there.
Really impressed with everyone right there. As the 48 car's going back to pit road, something is
Black flag.
going. Black flag, not what you want to see if you're him. It is went from a perfect night to an awful night for Anthony Marino.
Yeah, already 1 lap down. Did not take a wave around there. Has led 59 laps and has the stage 1 win, so that'll help alleviate, a poor finish that could result from the way things are going right now. But definitely a big change of events there as he brought it back in. May go another lap down as he is just getting back up to speed on the apron through 1 and 2. Battle here for that 3rd position. 81 of River Hayes up on the top side, trying to stick it to the right rear quarter panel of the 35 of Rayshawn Wingfield, not able to do it. And here comes Gavin Hinson trying to take a peek. And big send into the corner there. You can see the back end get light on River Hayes, the 81.
Yeah, these cars are so aero dependent. When you get in a situation where you're following right along somebody or get to the inside of them on a corner like that where you have to have a lot of grip, sometimes the car gets a little unpredictable, and sometimes it plows way up the track and you lose a lot of momentum, or sometimes the rear end wants to come around on you. And this car, you don't really know what it's going to do until it does it.
Yeah, it's got the different kind of steering rack system that, all the other stock cars, all of us were used to before this one came out, didn't have. So the reaction of the car is a little bit delayed compared to a traditional stock car steering and suspension system. And it really tough to save it if you do get loose, and like you said, very unpredictable when something happens that you wouldn't expect from another normal stock car. These, of course, with the independent rear suspensions and transaxles and all of that, right? They just handle a little bit differently dynamically. As this battle is a good one here. River Hayes finally got back by the 39 machine, but here comes Gavin Hinson, going to send it back to the inside lane in 1 and 2. Just able to slide up in front. He'll clear for that position, and then back again comes the 81.
Yeah, these two putting on a great show right now. River Hayes this time not having any handling issues out of the car, maintaining his position alongside Hinson, but Hinson's just so much faster out of the corner on that top line.
Still side by side down into turn 1. Here comes River Hayes trying to get back alongside on the back straightaway, not giving each other a lot of room. Really tight racing right there. And the 15 of Devin Curl just hoping that nothing happens. He's looking right on this battle and trying to find his own way around, but nowhere to go. So these two battling so tightly there, but he's got a lot of draft off of them, and that's also bringing Isaac Wilson, Jacob Cochran, Lauren Vincent, and others all kind of closer and closer to this battle. So, yeah, they better figure that one out, and now they finally may have. Nope. Just as I spoke, 81 just cleared the 39, and a big run down the back throw for Gavin Hinson, and he sends it deep into turn 3. Maybe enough as the 81 catches the wall. They're into each other. Round goes River Hayes.
No.
Your points leader. And he's going to come to a stop on the apron. That may not generate the yellow flag. That was brewing for a while.
Yeah, that is not going to end up bringing up the yellow. Let's see the instant replay here. These two had been swapping back and forth for this position for the last handful of laps.
Oh.
Hayes gets up, brings it off the wall, and I think he just tried to clear himself when there wasn't enough space there. Just a simple mistake. I think I raced into it. Yeah, he was trying to pull it off of the wall and came down across Gavin Hinson's nose. Almost had a great save, but ended up having to lock it down and come to a complete stop.
Yeah, so he'll fall all the way back to 17th, and it'll be another recovery drive for him. This will be the second time he'll have come from the back of the field. And so that is, a lot to ask of someone here, especially at Kentucky. This is a very, very impressive drive already for him to have gotten back up to where he was, and now to do it again with just over 70 laps. It's going to be a tall order as Colin Bollinger's still out in front. He's got a half-second lead over Clayton Good. Rayshawn Wingfield now back up to that 3rd position. Devin Curl has emerged into 4th place, so strong recovery from him, and we know he's got speed to go up there and maybe race for this win.
Yeah, that 15 car right now, we're taking a look at him right now. He's up to 4th. He is a little under a second and a half behind the leaders, but right now, man, he is flying, and he's going to do a good job if he can catch up to him. I think he's a real threat to win tonight.
Yeah, already led those first 27 laps, finding his way forward. Keep an eye on some other drivers up here in the top 10. Lauren Vincent up 12 positions. Big run there for the 07. Dustin Lewis, Zachary King rounding out your top 10 as well. They've gained a couple of spots apiece. Jack Pfeiffer in the 11th position. He's up 8 positions. They're starting in 19th, that number 55. Form Energy Machine up here now, close to a top 10 run. And doing a solid job there. How about Joshua Gillen in that 10 machine? Got the lucky dog, and now he's closing in on the top 10 as well. Really strong drive off of turn 4. This time now looking to the outside of Caleb Hunt. Catches the outside wall just a little bit. But that 10 machine doing a nice job getting his opportunity back with the lucky dog, and yeah, making the most of it here.
Yeah, doing a really nice job here running the outside line here in 3 and 4. And it seems to be a lot more viable in this car than it was 2 nights ago. These guys are able to carry a lot more speed. They have that bigger tire, a little bit more downforce, probably even some more mechanical grip than the truck. So running that top line in 3 and 4 has a lot more value than it did in previous races here that I've watched this week.
Yeah, usually it's kind of just the bottom lane on that end of the racetrack, but yeah, it's opened up a lot. You can see here 3 completely different lines. Perfect example of that. We'll see what the 10 is able to do down on the inside lane. Looks like not going to be able to make the move on the 19 of Caleb Hunt just yet, but Pfeiffer up there on the top side, not able to get the run that you might expect from a top lane, and he catches the outside wall into turn number 1. But yeah, really interesting to see all those different lines develop here, and who's using what. Out at the front of the field, Colin Bollinger running that middle lane and doing everything he needs to do to continue to extend the lead as the battle for second starts to emerge. Clayton Good, Rayshawn Winkfield here, just nose to tail. 35's been good on the long run we've seen. Really good in the center of the corners. We'll see if he's able to do anything with the 91 here over the next few laps. And we're about halfway through this fuel run. Guys are going to have to start deciding what they're going to do here. If they want to split it into thirds or just run 2 normal length stints and a short one. Or, yeah, some drivers may elect to kind of flip it here, right? Just pit now and then take your 2 stops after.
Yeah, I think with the way we saw stage 2 play out with those couple cautions there at the start, I know the field's pretty spread out right now, but knowing that mistakes have been happening throughout the field tonight, I think you have to run each run as long as you possibly can.
Yeah, and if you're drivers like Beckett Brown, Reggie Kime, Jared Knopfsnyder, Anthony Marino Jr. still just 1 lap down, but he is about a lap and 3/4 down. So, you know, not the race he was looking for, but yeah, there's the leader right behind him. Just a few seconds. So this is tough for him. He's hoping that he can get a yellow flag to maybe save him and maybe take a wave around at that point. That would be a huge turn of events for him if he could do that. So definitely a driver hoping for things to kind of flip here, and this would simplify the fuel strategy, but he catches the wall hard into turn 1 that time. Not helping his cause.
Yeah, that outside wall, especially on the front stretch tonight, has been lethal to say the least, especially really at the exit of the tri-ovals where I've seen a handful of people get it, just trying to carry a lot of speed to get down into turn 1, and we've also seen it a lot right here, especially on restarts with cars following each other into that wall.
Yeah, we'll see if he makes the same mistake again. You're just trying to maximize your entry, right? Just go as wide as you can and arc it down in. It's the best way around this racetrack, but the safer barrier, you know, it's also green, which is not something you see at a lot of other racetracks, right? So it's a little bit different visually than we're traditionally used to at other racetracks. So just kind of tough to kind of gauge where you're at maybe in reference to that. But we have seen a lot of drivers make contact with that wall throughout the race tonight. Battle here at the back part of the top 10. Lauren Vincent, Jacob Cochran, Isaac Wilson all nose to tail. This is 6th, 7th, and 8th on the racetrack. And all kind of running in line with each other here. We'll see what they do on this end of the speedway. And this time, kind of 3 slightly different approaches to the corner. 93 with a good run through the center, which seems to have been the best and most successful way for most, but he's slow on the front straightaway, did not get a good exit off turn 4. And here comes Jacob Cochran now looking to the outside.
Yeah, I've tended to notice on these 1.5-mile tracks that when all the lines are equal, the best thing to do is just go to where the car in front of you isn't. Clean air tends to help more than the preferred line on most cases right now.
Yeah, especially as we get late into the run like this. Now 25 laps into this stint or more. Yeah, a little contact there for the 88 into the outside wall.
I don't think it's too bad, but there is a little bit of right front damage on that car, but hopefully for him it's just a paint scrape.
Yeah, lucky they're driving Gen 7 machines and not those Gen 6s. They would have a lot worse issues if they were hitting the wall as many times as they have here tonight. A lot of cars would be a lot slower than they are right now. Here's an important moment in this race. Stage 1 winner, Anthony Marino Jr. Things have gone downhill for him in this race. Still putting down solid lap times, but not quite as fast as these leaders. He has faded quite a bit, and maybe with a little bit of right front damage. But the gap now just, 5-10 car lengths between these two. And this would be to go 2 laps down. So he's going to fight, I would think, with everything he's got to try and stay just 1 lap down and hope that he can get some kind of break with a caution or something. And yeah, this is not what he wants to see. These leaders right here closing in lap after lap. As the top 5 battles still continuing on. Devin Curl closes up now on the 35 of Rayshon Winkfield. Now takes a peek to the outside. Nearly gets put into the outside wall. Trying to carry that momentum here off of turn number 2. Really good run through the center. Might be there alongside. No, door gets shut. He's going to look to the inside, and the 35 going to chase him down there.
35 made a pretty aggressive block there coming out of 2, and then down the backstretch with the 15 car.
Oh,
a real
wow. Big save there from Devin Curl. You're wrecked usually when you're that far around in these cars.
Yeah, that was amazing from Devin Curl there. Take another look at it.
Yeah.
Oh, there wasn't any contact there. That was just all over driving it just a little bit to try to get away from that 35 car.
Yeah, it almost looks like once he got back to the throttle, he was a little low on exit, and sometimes these cars just don't like that, right, with the change in banking coming off a turn. And so just a little too much throttle too early and too low, and then he nearly got into the 35 on the other end of the racetrack, trying to get back underneath them. As we have a few cars bringing it in here, Jacob Cochran, Dustin Lewis, Zachary King. So these guys are going with the kind of splitting it in thirds. And also looks like Jack Pfeiffer brought it in. Reggie Kime had brought it in just a moment ago as well. Leaders are going to bring it in, and there is the 91 spinning into the wall.
Oh, he's had such a good night going.
And the 35's around. Rayshon Winkfield's around as well.
Looks like he's just going to back up to his pit box there. Let's see what happened.
Yeah, 91 goes for the slide, and then the 35 does the same exact thing, and he actually had a speeding penalty as well. So
I think the 91 saw the 35 not getting slowed down as fast as he was, and he tried to get out of the way, and it just ended up carrying him into the wall when he was trying to get out of the way there.
Yeah, and it works out a little better for the 91 than it does for the 35, who's going to have to serve that penalty. So that may be a race-losing moment for Rayshawn Winkfield, who's still sitting in the box there. Clayton Good is off and away. Colin Bollinger, though, well off in the distance, almost 4 or 5 seconds now between those two. And still 10 or so drivers yet to bring it in. Now, even less than that is Ullman and Caleb Hunt and a few others have just brought it down. So Isaac Wilson taking over the race lead for the moment. 34 laps on this stint. And there's no way they're going to be able to split it in half. It would be, yeah, I mean, it'd be almost 90 laps. It would be, I think, just under 90 laps to go, and they just, there's no way. We've seen drivers go 44 after a caution. They were able to save, but I think under green, 38, 39 may be the maximum.
Yeah, in stage 1, the furthest anybody made it was 2-lap 39, and right now we have, I think, 53 laps to go, so yeah, there's no way you can make this in one stop. You're going to have to pit twice. These guys that are staying out, they might be trying to stretch out both runs and then just top off with gas right before the end of the race.
Yeah, really interesting and good job by the crew here to set the stage lengths as they did. This will really, shake things up. We'll see just 6 drivers on the lead lap right now. Beckett Brown is currently shown on the lead lap right there in front of the 35 machine, who lost a second lap. So Rayshawn Winkfield not in a good position after the mistake of getting out pit road, and really tight racing with Beckett Brown. So just 6 cars left to pit. Isaac Wilson, your race leader, is just behind those guys battling on the racetrack. Lauren Vincent up to second. Joshua Gillen, who, remember, got the lucky dog not all that long ago, currently shown in that 3rd position, maybe hoping for a caution or something to flip this race on its head entirely. And what a change of fortune that would be for him, as the 07 of Lauren Vincent is going to bring it in here 37 laps into this run. Likely not the only one on this stint. Corey Jones looks like he's going to bring it in. River Hayes may be the next one as well. And that is going to be the case. So quite a few drivers at 37 laps. Beckett Brown at 38 laps, as well as Isaac Wilson and Joshua Gillen. So
Yeah, I think Beckett Brown, he's pitting right here, but I think the last stage he was the one who made it the longest on that strategy without pitting. So we know he's pretty good at saving gas, and Isaac Wilson's still staying out there. I think this is lap 38 of this run for him, so he's most likely gonna pit here, and if not, definitely pitting the next time around.
yeah, Joshua Gillen and Isaac Wilson both out here 39 laps into this stint. Beckett Brown also went 39, but likely going to see them. Yeah, here comes the 93, bring it in, and Joshua Gillen as well, much more conservative on entry. They're both going to pull it down onto pit road and complete our pit cycle. Part of me was hoping that they would do extreme save and try and get 5 more laps out of it somehow, but they would have to have done that from the start of the run, and you would be so far off pace, I think, with the way these next gens are pretty much, full throttle for a good chunk of the lap. Yeah, I think it's almost impossible for anyone, even the best fuel saver in the world, to do something like that.
Yeah, the only way that's even remotely possible is if you're in the middle of the pack, you have cars behind you kind of pushing a little bit early in the run, in the draft. You're not going full throttle, but once you get a few laps into the run and we start spreading out, it's just impossible to save that much gas without catastrophically killing your time, which ends up canceling out the idea of saving anyway.
Yeah, you'd take an entire extra lap basically, or 2, and that negates any time you would save by not going on to pit road. So things have cycled all the way back around, and Colin Bollinger now to the race lead once again. And he has resumed where he's been for much of this 3rd stage. Gavin Hinson now up to the 2nd position after issues for a couple of drivers who were in front of him there. Clayton Good made the issue on pit road, as well as Rayshawn Winkfield who's now 1 lap down in the 19th position. So a couple of drivers who've been up towards the front all race long, back there 19th and 20th, the 35 and the 48 machines.
Yeah, you can't afford to make mistakes on 1.5-mile tracks because they generate long runs so often. And when you're making, mistakes like speeding on pit road or, missing your pit box on pit road, losing that time under green, you can't do that without suffering the consequences in a bigger increment than you would, on a super speedway or a short track where there's not guaranteed cautions, but they're a lot more common.
Yeah, very impressive run by this field tonight. Just 2 cautions for cause, 2 for the stages. If we take a look at the race recap quickly, 9 lead changes and those 4 cautions. Colin Bollinger is your leader at the moment. Gavin Hinson second, Devin Curl third, Jacob Cochran in that 4th position. Clayton Good rounding out your top 5. So really strong run by all of those guys and very different stories for all of them. And just under 50 laps to go in this race. We're going to step aside for a quick green flag side-by-side commercial break.
The victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League and throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Back at the racetrack now. Your race leader out there, Colin Bollinger, 1.3 seconds in hand over Gavin Hinson, Devin Curl. These guys battling fiercely for that runner-up spot. Devin Curl, who's been recovering since the end of stage number 2, or middle of stage 2 rather, was able to get some stage points there and now fighting to have a shot again at the race win. It's been a good one here from Kentucky in the Hudson Auto Works 500. And Gavin, not a lot of this race left to go. This field's pretty spread out. What's going to be the key here, you think, for these few that are still in the running now with just under 50 to go?
I think you got to look at the top 3 as your really only contenders, and unless there's something major that changes. I think if you're Bollinger, don't overcook your tires. Don't push too hard. Here we're about to pit again, have our one last run to the end. Don't heat up your tires too much. Don't lose time at the end of this run. If you're Gavin Hinson, just keep Curl behind you because, he's slightly faster. He got to you, but he's struggling to get around. And if you're Devin Curl, you have to get to 2nd place as quick as possible and have a perfect pit stop here to end the night.
These guys all going to have to execute on the money stop in the closing moments of this race. Let's do a quick run through our field. Colin Bollinger started shotgun, 27th on the field tonight, up to the race lead. He's led 55 laps here. So fantastic performance from him. Gavin Hinson up to that 2nd spot. He's been up towards the front most of this race. Started in 3rd, running in that 2nd spot. Devin Curl led the first 28 laps after starting on the pole. Got cycled to 2nd or 3rd rather at the end of stage 1. Has not been able to get back to the race lead, but doing a good job up here within striking distance. Jacob Cochran, he's now back up to the 4th position after starting in 7th. About 7.5 seconds behind the race leader and 6 seconds behind 3rd place Devin Curl. So he's got his work cut out for him. He's going to have to find something to make up any part of that and have a shot at it. Clayton Good, who was running well up inside the podium positions just a few moments ago, running in that 5th position now after starting 15th. Still a fantastic performance so far from him. Isaac Wilson, strong performance as well. He's led 19 laps, started in 5th, running in the 6th position. Looks like Clayton Good gonna bring it to pit road, maybe start our final pit cycle here very early.
Yeah, there is 38 laps to go right now. So pitting right here, I think this is perfect. It is right on the edge of making it. I don't have that feeling that this is going to be an overtime race. So try to short pit here. Pick up a few seconds that you can on these first few laps, because these fresh tires are a huge difference, and you're going to be able to make up that track position. I like the idea of being the first one to pit road here.
Yeah, and we know that Clayton had made the mistake getting onto pit road the last time, so much smoother this time. It looks like a 4-tire pit stop for the 91, which we've seen kind of work for some drivers. It worked out for him earlier in this race to make up some ground, but under green here, this may be a little tricky to fully work out for him. He's going to have to push pretty hard with those 4 tires. He goes 1 lap down. Your race leader, Colin Bollinger, just working off of turn number 2 right here. So about another straightaway behind. So that's the difference between those. And now second, Devin Curl making the move to the inside of Gavin Hinson. These guys not looking like they're going to pit just yet. So Clayton Good, the first of our top 10 to make any type of a move to pit road. And we'll see if anyone else follows suit there. But this battle for second is raging right here.
Yeah, Gavin Hinson did a really good job fighting back to the bottom. Devin Curl's got to be angry at him, because you were gaining time ever so slightly on the leader. Now you're side by side, racing each other hard, and you just see that 53 car slowly but surely driving away, as the 15 looks to be able to clear the 39 right here out of turn 4.
Looks like Beckett Brown a lap down there in the lucky dog position. He's going to peel off and go to pit road. So risky move there, potentially going to go a second lap down temporarily, as also Jacob Cochran now from inside the top 10. He'll bring it to pit road in the number 88. So we've got some takers here, and starting to cut into this final run. Make that a little bit longer for them than some of these other drivers staying out on the track. So Devin Curl, nice lap right here, able to close up a couple of tenths. He's found some really good long run speed in that 15.
Yeah, Devin Curl is a super fast, super consistent driver. I've watched him win several races just off doing this right here, and that's executing at the end of every run and being able to either close in on a lead or extend a lead.
Yeah, he's got the leader right in front of him, just 1 second up the road. And we're at just about 30 laps to go in this race. He's had to work really hard to get back up to this position, and now in a good spot with the speed to maybe go out there and win. We'll see what he's able to do. It would be quite the recovery drive. Lost the lead there at the end of stage 1. And yeah, now under 3/4 of a second up to the race leader, as we see Dustin Lewis bring it down pit road as well. Looks like he's going to bring it. And then Devin Curl is going to commit to pit road too. Interesting with the long run speed there. He was making up ground, but he's going to try and flip the script a little bit and do a little undercut to Colin Bollinger.
Yeah, I was thinking if I was Bollinger, I would want to get to pit road before Devin Curl, but that's not going to happen. So now you have to make a decision. Do you want to run as long as possible and take 2 tires or no tires, or do you want to pit now and just hope that you're faster here at the end? And I think we're getting our answer right now.
Yeah, immediate response as Gavin Hinson is going to remain on the racetrack. He'll take the race lead away, but the 53 of Bollinger been so good for all of this race, driving up from the back of the field into the pit box nicely right there. It looks like Devin Curl with a 10-second pit stop. Let's see what Bollinger elects to do, if he's going to do a 2-tire or 4-tire. But it looks like a 2-tire pit stop. 10.1 in the box, so a little faster pit stop. But we'll see how they did on their in and out laps. Bollinger working off pit road. Here comes Devin Curl through 3 and 4.
They're
really
gonna be
interesting to
pretty
see.
even.
Yeah, Bollinger just getting off pit road on the access road now, trying to get up to speed. Here comes Devin Curl through 1 and 2. He's got the 93 machine right here in front of him, kind of throwing a wrench in his plans, probably hoping for some clean air. 93 is going to peel out of the way, and this is going to get a little bit spicy as the 53 down low. 93 shoots through the middle. He's kind of playing defense almost now for Devin Curl as he goes on through with 15, able to take over the tentative race lead. As Zachary King now going to pull it off. So that was an interesting situation with the lap car in the middle of all of that.
Yeah, Devin Curl used that 93 car, used it like a basketball pick there, set the screen, picked and got around him, and now he's got the lead here with 37 laps to go.
Initially, I thought the 93 was actually going to hurt the 15 a little bit more in that situation, but it worked out pretty well with the timing of how they kind of met up there on the back straightaway, that it didn't allow Bollinger to come up the racetrack very far. But you can see here, 53's already closed back into just about 2 or 3 car lengths. So this is going to be a heck of a battle for the win here with about 25 laps to go. These guys are off the lead lap for the moment. Gavin Hinson still out here leading the way. Isaac Wilson, Caleb Hunt, Joshua Gillen, a handful of others. As we've got one peeling off now. That's John Ullman, Lauren Vincent also bringing it onto pit lane. So just about 6 cars left to complete the cycle here. Looks like Caleb Hunt also going to bring it down.
Yeah, this pit cycle, much different from the others we've seen under green flag tonight, where there's a lot of different strategies being played out here. You had some guys short pit for 4 tires and then long pit for 2, try the overcut instead of the undercut. So it's going to be really interesting to see which ones end up being the ones that have the biggest advantage here at the end, as Bollinger's ran Curl back down for what will be the lead after the pit cycle.
These guys are pretty much nose to tail. This is really interesting because Bollinger's been pretty good on the short run, pretty good at every stage of the run, really. But the 15 seems like he may be the class of the field on the long run. He's really starting to make gains there, and that's what has led to this flip. Just with the 1 lap undercut was just enough to close that distance. I think he probably saw, he's like, I'm 3/4 of a second behind. I'll gain a second through an undercut. And it worked out just almost exactly like that. He is pushing really hard right now. Catches the wall off turn number 2. Still the top 4 drivers yet to bring it in here. But how about this? Goes up the hill, does the 15. Here comes the 53. Bollinger down low. And side by side for what will be the race lead once things fully cycle out. Right now it's fighting for the lucky dog position, which would be almost equally as important if we did get a yellow flag. But man, what a good battle. Still side by side off turn 2. And the 15 in a good position to try and hold him off here in that top lane.
Yeah, Bollinger seems to be just as fast as Curl, but it just looks like he's having to work a lot harder to do it.
Yeah, anytime you're sending it down low there hard on the brakes to get it to rotate down on the inside lane, and then you're just turning a little bit tighter. Some tracks, the top side will wear your tires more. This one, it's just a good position to be for defending, and he's not really running all the way up the racetrack, right, in Devin Curl there. He's running kind of the middle of the track. 53's just got to find some way around. This time he looks high, and pretty good run through the center, but not able to make much of a gain there coming off of turn number 4. Here comes Gavin Hinson now to pit road. They'll put those two back onto the lead lap, and Hinson gonna pit for the final time here tonight with 20 laps to go. Isaac Wilson now to the top spot. Joshua Gillen in the 10. He's going long on the strategy, just like we've seen on the last cycle. So he's actually only got 29 laps on his run here. He could run nearly to the end of this race, just about 4 or 5 laps to go. Same with Isaac Wilson. So those guys hoping maybe we can get a caution here in the next 5 to 10 laps.
Yeah, and this is where racing here is going to get really nerve-wracking for these guys that haven't pit yet, because they know that when they come to pit road, not only are they not going to be able to take tires, because it's so close to the end of the race, you don't want to lose those spots. You're not going to be able to make back up. But if you have to pit, the caution comes out at the wrong time, it can go from saving your day to absolutely ending it. And right now, they're in a position where it could save their day.
Yeah, and they've both started in the top 10. They've been running, top 10, top 15. Joshua Gillen had the lucky dog situation there. He was able to get back on the lead lap, and now he's trying to do something a little bit different, see if he can find a few more positions before the end of this race. Only 5 cars on the lead lap for the moment, as those top 3 still yet to pit. The battle for that 3rd position, though, is about to become a 3-way battle, as Corey Jones currently holds 3rd position. Devin Curl, Colin Bollinger right there behind, closed up. And this is impressive because the 63 has not yet pit, but these guys have already pit. So that's how far the 63 is off of these two. He's going to have to bring it in here in the next couple of laps, and that's a tight position off 4. A little contact.
I don't know how he kept it off the wall there after that contact. That was great save by the 63 car.
That's as tight and difficult a position to catch a lap machine as you could possibly expect. I mean, that's where the car gets the tightest at this racetrack. 63 not really doing anything wrong. It's just a bad place for a car that's on fresher tires to catch you, and just the way it goes sometimes, that's going to cost the 53 a few tenths of a second there to Devin Curl, who started to drive away from him.
Yeah, especially for Bollinger there to catch him in such a bad spot, because if you lift out of it, you're going to lose that time anyway. So he was just hoping to take that risk and make that pass cleanly, but he was just not quite in time to get to the inside of him before the exit of turn 4.
So he's going to have to find some speed on the long run. Big hit to the outside, though, that time off turn 4. These guys are the last ones on the lead lap, and this is going to be really odd to see so many cars a lap down until these leaders bring it in here. But that's not going to be for a while. I would expect, like we said, maybe about 5 to 10 more laps. Well, actually, they've gone 35 on this stint, so maybe 5 laps more is all that we could expect out of this run from these two. As the 93 of Isaac Wilson looks like he's going to bring it in 77, nearly gets into the back of him there. And he's going to get down to speed just fine. Joshua Gillen will stay out another lap or 2 potentially, and that'll move Devin Curl and Colin Bollinger up into 2nd and 3rd in just a moment. And we'll get a few more of these guys back on the lead lap.
We're just going to have to find out how much fuel that Gillen has saved here. Because the way he's driving into turn 3, I think that he's going to stay out there.
Yeah. I like how you waited until he got about 2/3 of the way through the corner
I
there.
wasn't quite sure what he was going to do. I was waiting.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes it looks like, they enter in real low. You're right. They're kind of taking a conservative approach to get down into the pit lane. And he has been pretty conservative getting onto pit road the last couple of times. This time he goes to the middle of the racetrack and not going to bring it in. So going long on this run, this will be 38 laps for him. Still 20 seconds in hand over Devin Curl, Colin Bollinger. And he's just hoping for some type of yellow flag or some kind of situation. Corey Jones has brought it in here as well, so he'll fall back through the top 10 and likely outside the top 10 or 15. Just a quick 2-tire stop right there. We'll probably expect to see the same from Joshua Gillen. As it looks like now he's finally going to bring it in here. Nearly 39 laps on this run, so really impressive to get that kind of distance. That'll hand the race back over to Devin Curl, who's going to have about a second in hand over Colin Bollinger. So these guys have spaced out a little bit. Well, it looked like it was going to be a hot battle for the win. I mean, that remains to be seen if that will still be the case or not. Definitely more work to do, though, for Colin Bollinger at this point. And no other real battles to speak of. Everyone seems pretty spaced out, so barring any crazy unforeseen incidents, or maybe somebody getting off pit road in a bad way here in just a second. This is the 15's race to lose, I think.
As long as the announcer curses, as long as we don't get him, I think he's in a really good spot.
Yeah, 15 can't lose this one, right? There's no way.
Yeah, no kidding. No way. No way that anybody's going to mess up here at the end.
There's a lot of empty space on this racetrack, though, looking out there. So Devin Curl, though, doing what he has needed to do here on this final run. Worked his way back up to the runner-up spot, flipped the strategy just a little bit on the 53. And now, how about this? The 35 of Rayshon Winkfield. He had his problem there with the black flag and the entry to pit road, and he's about to go a second lap down. So at one point in this race, the 53 and the 35, right, were up there at the front of the field. And that has changed, or rather it was the 48, 53, 35 to 35, and the 48 are not there anymore. 53 fighting for this race win, still about 9/10 of a second behind, and now it's going to be 8 laps to go at the stripe. Devin Curley's led 31 laps after starting up there on the pole. Took him a long time to get back to the race lead. Hoping to lead the most important laps here tonight. As it looks like Isaac Wilson gonna battle it up here with Jacob Cochran. So Wilson, much fresher tires. Gonna try and complete that pass. Shouldn't be an issue, and does so. He's led 26 here. Good strong run from him, up a position after starting in the top 5. And pretty fresh tires, like we said. In a good spot to have a very solid finish. Probably too far back for a podium, but either way, gotta be proud of a top 5 run in a race that's gone as green as this one has. As here we go, 15 battling on the inside of the 35, and this is an interesting situation because 35 and 53 are teammates, and no room being given here.
Yeah, if you're Bollinger, you are loving what you're seeing right now, and if you're Curl, you are just fuming and just getting more and more mad and frustrated in that driver's seat. But should be able to clear him right here. No, I don't think he's still side by side, but Bollinger's not able to take advantage of it that much as that gap to the lead is not shrinking.
And the 35's been a good car here tonight, right? Has run up in the top 5, and it's still making it tough on Devin Curl to complete this pass. Yeah, I think maybe the 53, after running in the wake of the 15 as tight as he did there, trying to make the pass side by side for a while, might have just used up those Goodyear Eagles a little bit more than he would have liked, and now struggling to just keep up with these two as they battle side by side here. And the 35 just trying to stay 1 lap down in case something happens. He could maybe take a wave around, but 5 laps to go, going to be 4 laps to go. Looks like maybe going to concede. No, he's still going to stick on the outside here.
Yeah, that's one thing I've learned about Rayshon Wingfield. He's not going to give up any position. He is going to fight tooth and nail to the bitter end for any position on the track. It doesn't matter. He wants it. He hates being passed.
Yeah, and he does have a little bit of a tire advantage to these leaders, but and not able to make that work just there. Going to fall to 2 laps down. First car in that position. Just 3 laps to go now, though, for Devin Curl, who's made the comeback. Had to take his medicine, kind of bite the bullet there. Came down pit road after getting caught out on the strategy. And that ultimately cost the 48. And I think it might have been, yeah, who's the other one that stayed out with them there? Maybe the 35 as well. Oh, no, it was the 45 of Beckett Brown. Those 3 stayed out when everyone else had pit. And the 15 came in just before they got the green flag the next time around. And look at where he is right now. 2 laps to go. A second, nearly 2 seconds over Colin Bollinger, who's been the class of the field since the drop of the green flag and has worked his way from the back to the front. And the 15 just 4 more corners once he gets out of turn 4 here. Good battle between Joshua Gillen and Dustin Lewis. How about Joshua Gillen, though, with the lucky dog? Great recovery drive from him as well. not going to be able to likely get a top 5 out of this thing, but 6th place run after at one point being, I think it was about 17th, 1 lap down. That is an incredible drive, and 2 more corners for Devin Curl now. Into turn number 3, no problems whatsoever. Nice and smooth off of turn number 4. What a drive for Devin Curl. He'll take the win here at Kentucky. Checkered flag goes to the number 15 machine. Colin Bollinger will come home in the 2nd spot here tonight. Gavin Hinson, a few seconds further back. He'll finish in the 3rd position here tonight. Great drive by all of those. No other battles here inside the top 10. What a win and drive for Devin Curl tonight.
Devin Curl just proved to me why he is a great driver. I've seen him win a handful. Actually, I've seen him win many truck races with us here at Mystic Racing League. But first time that I'm getting to call a cup race, he goes out and does the one thing I'm used to him doing, and that is winning.
Yeah, it looked like maybe the race was lost there when he had to go to the back after pitting off sequence slightly, and had to lost the first stage, right? You're like, maybe he doesn't have the long run speed or doesn't have the strategy, doesn't have it here tonight. But great drive by him to get back up there and prove us wrong and able to capture this race win. We'll interview him as well as the rest of the top 3 and go through our full race results after a quick commercial break.
Takes the victory, 128 laps without a pit stop.
Donnie Kite's gonna get through it all and score his first career win. Saturday Night Racing League in throwback at Charlotte goes to Josh Adams.
Back at the racetrack here at the completion of the Hudson Auto Works 500. What a race we saw this evening in race number 14 of this 2026 season. Let's take a look at our full race results, see where your favorite drivers came home here at Kentucky. Devin Curl, your race winner. Good recovery drive from him after being caught out on the strategy call. Comes home to take the victory here tonight. Colin Bollinger, strong performance. Started at the back, drove to the front, led a lot of laps here in that 53. Comes home in 2nd. Gavin Hinson going to finish in the 3rd position. Isaac Wilson, strong drive from him, finishes in 4th. Jacob Cochran going to finish in the top 5 in that 5th position. Joshua Gillen, great recovery from him, finishes in 6th. Dustin Lewis comes home in the 7th position. Strong night here from Lauren Vincent, finishing in the 8th position. Zachary King finishes in 9th. Caleb Hunt going to round out your top 10.
11th place was Josh Pfeiffer there in the 55 car. River Hayes started P6, finished P12th. Brown here in the 45 car finished 13th. John Ullman rolled off 11th, finished 14th. Zach White finished 15th. Cody Jones started outside of the top 20 and finished 16th. Rayshawn Winkfield started in the top 10 in 10th position, finished 17th. Reggie Kime had a consistent day, ended up 18th. Knopp Snyder started in 19th, and Good there in the 91 car started 20th after starting 15th.
Yeah, not the result that Clayton Good would have been looking for there with the issues on pit road, coming home in that 20th position. Finishing 21st, winner of stage number 1, Anthony Marino Jr. Not where he would have liked to have come home, takes it home early as well. Dylan Brumley finishing in the 22nd position here tonight. 23rd is Michael Wade. 24th, Corey Powell. 24th, Corey Powell. 25th, Matthew Gary. 26th, James Sturdivant. 27th, David Moyer. And Christian Barnes going to round out your field of 28 drivers here this evening. We're now going to go to our third place finisher first. That's going to be Gavin Hinson in the number 39 machine. Let's see if we can pull him in here. Hey, Gavin, this is Adam and Gavin in the VSPEED booth. You got us.
Sure do.
Well, man, come home third here tonight. After starting in third, you had a lot of great battles out there tonight, a lot of green flag racing. You did lead some laps in the middle of some of these cycles here, and ultimately a strong performance from you. Just describe tonight's race at Kentucky and all those battles we saw.
Well, if I could be completely honest with you, it sucked. Everything about this race sucked. The car sucked. The track sucks. It's really tight. And I mean, I'm running fifth and running sixth, throughout the race. Some points, and I'm pissed off. I can't seem to find the turn in the center of the corner and carry off speed. It was just really frustrating. So, but there was some good battles, but it just felt like I was carrying an anchor on the back of the car. It was really tough, I have to say, but I'm more than pleased with a third place. I can tell you that.
Yeah, definitely a strong performance for you up here with a podium finish. We saw a lot of drivers try, 2-tire strategy, 4-tire strategy. Did you find anything that helped the dynamic of the handling of the car?
Well, when I started stage 3, I took 4 tires, and I told my teammates I'm not taking another set of left side tires the rest of the race. So, and that's what I did. I didn't take left sides the rest of the race, and I leapfrogged. And some guys had some trouble in pit road that kind of helped me out, but I leapfrogged those guys and I got next to Colin there, and just tried to maintain that track position I had gained. And luckily, it went green and made things a little less complicated. And then it was just, trying to figure out when I wanted to pit. And I didn't think I really had anything for Colin and Devin in the grand scheme of things, but I needed to improve my position to where I was kind of on average during the race. So that's what I did. And it helped the car turn a little bit better, but it still was plowing.
Yeah, and you come in here 12th in points. We go to Sonoma next week. How do you feel about going out there after a strong run tonight?
I don't really feel too much about it. I don't really think that road courses are my strong suit. I mean, I'm not terrible. So we'll see. As long as I can stay out of trouble and keep it clean, I think I'll be okay at Sonoma.
Well, you put on a good show for us here, coming home in that third position. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
I want to shout out my team, Waterforce Racing, and I want to shout out Rob's Custom Wraps, my sponsor. If you want a wrap, paint scheme, whatever, this is the guy you need to hit up. Hands down, one of the best in the game. And shout out you guys. You guys put on a really good product as far as the broadcasts go and commentary. So shout out you guys.
Awesome, Gavin. Thanks for that. And congrats on a strong run here at Kentucky. And we'll see you next week at Sonoma.
Thank you.
Thank you. That is Gavin Hinson, your third place finisher. We're now going to go to second place, Colin Bollinger. And I believe you are standing with him, Gavin.
Hey, Colin, it's Gavin up in the VSPEED booth. You got me?
Yes, sir. What's going on, guys?
Colin, you had a really, really impressive run tonight, starting in 27th, starting in the trunk, drove to the front, led 65 laps. Walk us through that run to the front first.
I mean, it was not too crazy. It was just being consistent and just picking off the guys one by one, either if they were side by side racing, slowing each other down, or just off the pace. And we just kept really consistent times and really kept took care of the tires. And I wish I could do that the rest of the night because that was our best run of the night, and I couldn't keep the right sides on it the rest of the night at all. Even though we were fast, I just was falling off even faster just in that clean air, just feeling how good it felt. It made me want to run faster, and I just couldn't hold myself back, unfortunately.
I got you. And once you were up front, you just said you were struggling with that, being in clean air, almost being too fast. Do you think there's anything else you could have done in that situation, or was it just one of those things that just a racing deal and how it played out?
No, I mean Devin made the right call. Whoever was going to pit there first and take the rights was going to win, and I got caught lacking and just sleeping up front. And I think he even said to me there when we were talking down the chat that he waited for me to pass the pit road or get far enough to where I couldn't get down to the pit road, and he pulled it in and got that extra lap out. And especially there at Kentucky, one lap early, you're going to make up so much time. And he got right to me. I almost made a pass back, and then after that, the tires kind of just evened out, and I started falling back, and it was kind of over.
Yeah, I got you. Do you have anybody you want to shout out, mention, give thanks to here at the end?
Just you guys tonight for putting on the broadcast, and I'm excited to watch back another P2 finish. You know, and can't get the win, but it is what it is. But no, just you guys for doing a great job on the broadcast.
All right, thanks, Colin.
Yep, no problem, guys.
That was Colin Bollinger, your second place finisher, who also led 65 laps.
Yeah, really strong run from him. Very impressive way to make it up to the front of this field. We're now going to go to our race winner, and that is Mr. Devin Curl, man of the hour here. Devin, this is Adam and Gavin in the VSPEED booth. You got us.
Yeah, I got you guys.
Well, Devin, it almost looked like all was lost there when you stayed out and the rest of the field brought it in. It was you and two others at the front. You ultimately take the pit call there, and you go down pit road, have to go kind of at the tail end of the field and drive up through there, get to the race lead. Just describe what was going through your mind, when you had to bring it down pit road and what you were focused on after that.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back a little further than that. You never know how these things are going to play out. But ended up having plenty of tires in the pit area, and it started when I lost the lead on the first stage. Decided to not take tires and hope that it was going to pay off later in the race. And unfortunately, the 45 and the 48 took tires and were able to get by me and take the stage from me and take control of the race from me. And from then on, it was kind of like I was just going to settle in, hold on, and hopefully we went green and I could do some strategy. And unfortunately, I wasn't paying attention, like you said, under that caution. And I noticed, I was like, oh, I'll just do what these guys do. And I didn't really put any other thought to it than that. And looked up and everybody else had pitted, and I was like, I wonder why everybody would pit. And I looked down and saw my fuel calculator and realized that I was going to be about 15 laps short. And I figured that seeing how I saw how the green flag pit stops were working in the first stage, you're going to go a lap down if you pitted, pretty much no matter what. And I figured that it would be safer to take the penalty, take the EOL, and just pit and get my fuel under the caution than it would be trying to hit under green. And fortunately, we didn't get involved in any wrecks and was able to, charge through. I think we came up to like 7th in the second stage, and it was just a grind, man. Just I found something on 3 and 4 that a lot of those guys weren't finding as far as how to make some moves, make some passes, and slowly but surely got my way up to the front and just short pitted Colin there to get ahead of him. And I knew once I could get ahead of him, I was fast enough to use the air to help me out there, and all she wrote.
Yeah, and really important, you got the win here tonight. Your championship competitors there in front of you. You finish in front of all of them. You come in third in points, so you're going to make some gains there on the top two in the standings after you get your second win here. How do you feel about going to Sonoma next week to kind of kick off the second half of this regular season?
Well, I would generally say not very well, but this season I've kind of surprised myself as far as my pace on the road courses has gone. Generally not a road course racer, as I'm sure most of the viewers know. Mostly a short track ace, and I surprised myself here because I figured that tonight was going to go much like my Wednesday night truck race did, and just going to be mediocre, just trying to salvage a decent points night without getting wrecked or anything. And I realized really quickly, once the green flag dropped, that I had found a lane and found a way to drive the car that was much more suitable to me than the truck was on Wednesday. So glad that I was able to get the win. Should, I think, put me first in points after things work out, and we'll see what happens. Best thing to do is just try to go there and make all the laps around Sonoma. Don't wreck, don't run off track, and just salvage kind of how I'm expecting tonight to go, to just salvage some points and keep myself in it. The goal really is to be able to be first at the end of the regular season, so I can get that bonus on the rest of the field going into the chase.
Yeah, to win is definitely the best way to make up as much ground as you possibly can. So great job here. A great recovery drive after the pit decision there. You ultimately made the right decision instead of the other two who stayed out and lost laps in the end. So great drive to get up here, get your second win of the season. Anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, as always, I'm not sure where Morgan is tonight, but he would know. Always thank my wife for letting me play and not giving me too much of a hard time, and thank the guys on Accelerated. I know the other two members didn't have as great as a night as they may have wanted, River Hayes and Caleb Hunt, but still we got 2 cars in the top 10, so hopefully that extends our team points lead, and hopefully we can get ourselves back in the top 10 for all 3 of us here coming to Sonoma next week.
Well, congrats again on the win. Thanks for taking some time here to talk to us, and we'll see you next week at Sonoma.
Thanks.
Thank you. That is your race winner, Devin Curl, his second win of the season, coming in amazing fashion there, able to drive up and get the win over Colin Bollinger, who had driven from the back of the field, and a good battle there for a few laps between those two here at Kentucky tonight. Well, Gavin, it was a pleasure calling a race with you here in the Mystic Racing League in the Slim Chickens Cup Series. Again, big shout out to Morgan Cook for what he does here on a regular basis, as well as the rest of the VSPEED team. So much fun to see these guys battle it out. Great green flag race. Any thoughts from you before we close on out?
I just think execution was super important tonight. The drivers that we saw that were fast, that failed to execute, fell off the lead lap even. And Devin Curl, he did not make mistakes and executed perfectly. And that ended up being what it took to win here at Kentucky.
Exactly right. That is it was a great race from those guys to get up there, and Devin Curl, fantastic performance. So congrats to him once again. On behalf of all the Team VSPEED broadcasting team, my name is Adam Baker, up here with Gavin Grubbs. Thanks to Dougie Beard for his cameras in the production of tonight's race. We're going to be headed to Sonoma next week for race number 15 in the Mystic Racing League Slim Chickens Cup Series. So thanks for tuning in tonight, and good night, everyone.